I'm going to give you guys a strategy that will pretty much guarantee for you help you make more money, especially on Redbubble. So let's kind of talk about this with Redbubble specifically. I set up a poll, and this has nothing to do with necessarily Redbubble. I just mention in business regardless. And I set up a poll. I kind of ask people, what's your current struggle in business? And for those who have entered in the poll, 50% said the biggest struggle they have is that they're working, they're doing the effort, they're putting in the work, but they're not getting the results that they want. And I think there has to be something said for how the work is being done. A lot of the times in every single business, there's people who are successful and people who are not successful. And I've been on both sides. I can't sit here and say that I've always been on one side or the other. Of course, I have much more failures or many more failures than I do have successes. But when it comes down to Redbubble, being that the platform itself, I think in a single quarter has made something like $90 million or something like that. I don't think there's necessarily a shortage of money to be made. Now, of course, there are fees on the platform. There are things that draw back from the amount of profits that you have, and that's something to be said. But obviously, if you're in one of the higher tiers, you don't have to worry about that as much. But once again, there's still money to be made. And if you're not happy with your current account tier, you could always create another one and build up on it. So anyways, with that all being said, putting that to the side, those aren't going to be the things that are going to necessarily cripple you from success. Now, of course, fees can, like I said, hurt your accounts, but it's not going to be the thing that cripples you. You can easily go create other accounts that don't have that problem. They get approved in the premium tiers, and then you create content on there, right? You create different products on there. With that being said, that's not the strategy I want to share. What I really want to share is a thought process, a thought strategy. And think of it this way, right? For me personally, when it comes down to Redbubble, about anywhere from, and I have a lot of stores on Redbubble, but let's just say 60 to 80%, depending on the store, of traffic, right? Through every count, 60 to 80% of traffic is purely organic. Somebody searching something on Google or somebody searching something on Redbubble, they find the design in the feed, they click and they buy. That's most of the time how I get my sale. Now, you have to keep in mind how that actually happens, because I use social media to rank up. I get sales through social media. Once I actually hold a position at the higher ranks, I no longer need to promote using social media anymore. I can have a more laid-back approach. I don't have to use social media because now I'm maintaining a spot at the top. There's many people who have good or great designs that would be great for getting sales, but the one thing holding them back is the ranking. Well, to reverse engineer, there are 3 parts that affect how high you rank. You have your sales, you have your keywords. Keywords is actually first because obviously you have to be indexed in the search. You have your sales and you have your number of favorites. All 3 of these things matter drastically, and they have their own place in the algorithm. But once again, with that being said, there are many people with great designs that are unfortunately not making enough money and not making enough sales. And, not getting the sale is a separate problem from not earning enough per sale, right? They're not the same problems. So if you have a lower account tier, account in the lower tiers, that's not the same problem as not getting enough sales, right? Earning enough and not making any sales are 2 different problems. So the question is we have to first specify the issue and then we have to solve it. So think of it this way. If somebody searches for a product, right? And I just did a quick search here for the keyword Zeus. There's only 2 ways a purchase will be made. Think about this. The first one is through interruptive, and the second one is for desire fulfilled. Think about it. What do I mean by that? Let's first go with interruptive. You guys have seen some of my YouTube videos in the past where you've seen me create some designs that are pun-related designs. So designs that are funny, play on words, things that people are not necessarily searching for, but if they see it, they get the joke, and they might want to purchase the product. You have seen those. There's other YouTubers that make those, and they exist, right? They exist. And then you have other products that are demand or desire fulfilled type products, meaning somebody's looking for a very specific product, they find what they want, and they make the purchase. That's fair to say, right? So for example, if I search, here, I search red rose pattern, something like that, on, like, let's say I'm looking for a pillow, I can actually filter through certain things and I can find it. So like, for example, this indeed is a red rose pattern, right, on a pillow, and I can go out there and buy the product. We can both agree to that. That's a perfect example of desire is being fulfilled in the customer. But what about the other example, right? The other example where where it's a pun or something fun or whatever. People are not necessarily searching for it, but yet they still make purchases on those type of products. How does that happen? Well, in both scenarios, whether it's the demand product or the desire product, the product that somebody already wants and they know what they want and they're searching for it, or if it's simply a pun-related product, which is more interruptive in nature, meaning somebody's searching and then they find something that they're interested in, it interrupts their thought process, they go and buy that product. They both rely on the same thing. And what they rely on is having proper keywords to start in their tags. We can both agree with that, right? Because think of it. Let's just say I have 10 designs for this keyword Zeus, right? There's about 6,000 competitors here, or 6,000 designs that are indexed for the keyword Zeus. The ones at the top pages are the only ones that actually matter, right? Because nobody's going to go to page 56 to find out what's on there. And frankly, from a relevancy algorithmic standpoint, and this is why it's important to understand the algorithm, those designs are not related to the keyword Zeus. They might have the keyword Zeus in their tags, but once again, the reason why they're positioned at that page, 56 or 42 or page 15, is not so much because of competition, but it's because they've been indexed, but the content is not directly related. So once again, the question, or not really the question, but the answer really lies in the specificity of the keywords. Picking the most optimal keywords can make or break someone, especially if they're creating either kind of art, whether it's the in-demand or the pun-related art. Before you create a Redbubble design, ask yourself, is this a product that people are actively searching for? Or is this a design that people will look and be interrupted in their scrolling cycle and decide to buy it because it's such a intriguing and interruptive type product? Ask yourself that, because either way, you're still in the clear to make the sale, right? You'll shift your results from no results to getting results. Well, how do you do that? Well, I'll just share how I do that. So one of the easiest ways that I do that is through this tool right here, the Redbubble Rocket Tagger tool. And I haven't spoken about this tool probably in close to a year. And when I say spoken about, I haven't actually made a tutorial on this in probably close to a year. But the way this tool works is very simple, okay? I perform a search for a certain niche, right? And I create multiple designs in that niche. I have no intention of creating one or two designs and then finding a different niche. If that's what you do, great. I personally use social media marketing, so that doesn't work for me. I need to be able to keep marketing to a particular audience who like a large array of content that's related to that same niche. So what do I do from here? I use the tool, I install the tool, I perform the search, and I hit grab tags. And what this is going to do for me is it's going to grab the absolute best tags associated through all the designs. So compared to the keyword, or not compared to, but associated with the keyword Zeus, from a relevancy standpoint, from an algorithmic but from an algorithm standpoint, the word lightning is close to the keyword Zeus. The keyword Greek mythology is close to the keyword Zeus. What I'm trying to say here is that these keywords, right, through relevancy, through an algorithm, determines what is closely related to it. So if I was to create designs for the keyword Zeus, what I would really need to do is I would need to audit these different keywords. And I would say, okay, which one of these keywords not only A, relate to my design, but B, which keywords would I use and add to my tags so I can make sure I tell the algorithm I'm closer to the keyword Zeus than X amount of competitors. So to put things into perspective, let me give you an example. This keyword Zeus, this listing, this design here, the keyword Zeus lightning sticker, right? We can argue, even if this design has less sales overall, that this design is more related from an algorithmic perspective than, I don't know why I added that to the cart, I didn't mean to, than, for example, a design that's on the second page. And indeed, we start to see that. We start to see a breakdown of of these certain Zeus type designs. Like, look at this, for example. This is a picture of a silver lab, like literally a picture of a dog. But it probably has the keyword Zeus in its tags. In fact, if we scroll down and we look, indeed it is. We have the keyword Zeus here. Why do you think, oddly enough, that a design like this would show up on page 2 as opposed to page 1? Well, because remember, there are 3 parts to the algorithm on Redbubble. You have your keywords, you have your sales, and you have your favorites. That dog design, wherever it was, where this one, that firstly includes the keyword Zeus in its tags, but it doesn't show up on page 1 because it has other keywords not related to Zeus. And that's what hurts it. And this is why in the Redbubble tag SEO course, and if you want to learn more about SEO and see everything that I've learned about it with SEO in Redbubble, if you want to learn about this, like I said, we talk about how the algorithm actually works. And it works off of relevancy. But a relevancy is not determined by some sort of AI. It's determined by what's posted. If we look at the pages on page 1, right? Or the designs on page 1 related to the keyword Zeus, they probably don't have a lot of the keywords on this design, this silver lab design, right? They probably don't have the keyword Labrador in their listings. They probably don't have the keyword puppy in their listings if they have the keyword Zeus in their listing, right? And that's what relevancy is. Relevancy is an algorithmic perspective around what keywords are closer to each other in a web-like format, like a spider web type format. So if the keyword Zeus was right in the middle of that spider web, there's other keywords that are associated with it, almost like branches or arms to the spider web. And keywords like Labrador or puppy or dog are not closely related, and that's why it's on page 2. Now, why isn't it on page 50 or page 40 or page 12? Because sales. Because there's other things other than just keywords that are associated with an algorithm. This design might get a lot of sales for its seller, right? Somebody might search for Silver Lab and this design might get sales. But that doesn't mean it's related to Zeus. So that's why it's not placed on the first page of Zeus. Do you see what I'm saying? So all this analysis that I have, right, behind studying these keywords, studying the algorithm, this has been fine-tuned for me, guys, for years. And it really makes the difference between somebody who's making, a couple sales a year on Redbubble versus a few sales a day on Redbubble, if that's what you're looking to do. And obviously, quantity makes a difference, quality makes a difference, but the skill behind it all makes a difference too. Now, I have virtual assistants that, work for me on Redbubble. They create designs every single day. In fact, I actually have 4 that work on Redbubble every single day right now. Hopefully, I increase that number in the future. But these, these virtual assistants, some are designers, some are taggers, but these virtual assistants, their language is not English. It's not English. Their first language is not English. They're from the Philippines. They have phenomenal English, but a lot of the times, because of they're not born with English necessarily, right? They're not going to be able to tag as good as somebody like me, right? Or you, who live, breathe English, who were born in America, etc. They're not going to be able to do that. So what do? I make things simple. I give them the tool, and they go through copying and pasting. They clearly have enough knowledge and information of the English language to copy and paste keywords, and they know what word means. But coming up with the right tags might be a struggle for them. So for me, two things. I beat the clock. I make them work harder and faster by using it. Well, not really harder. It's actually easier work because they're copying and pasting, but they're working faster. They're working faster and they're decreasing the amount of errors. So really, they're increasing efficiency. One of the golden, I guess you could say, metrics of print-on-demand success is how efficient are you? How long does it take you to produce a listing on Redbubble or any of its competitors? How long does it take? If it takes an hour, 2 hours, that might potentially mean that there's some holes in your system. Same way, if you have 0 sales and you've been creating design after design after design, that might be some indication that something is wrong in your system. There might be some sort of error. It's impossible for somebody to do everything right and yet have no positive results. It's just not practical. It's not possible. So hopefully, if you think about it this way, guys, you can kind of shift how you're seeing success on Redbubble and more importantly, how you can fix it over time. Listen, Redbubble is not a perfect platform, but it's a big platform with a good amount of traffic every month. And frankly, there's millions of dollars being made on the platform. And anybody can tap into that. And anybody can have their slice of the pie. So that's just my point of view. It's not perfect, but I come out here and I do everything that I can to maximize the amount of income I'm generating from the platform. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll leave all the resources in the links in the description. The Redbubble SEO course, along with the Redbubble Rocket Tagger. I'll leave those links in the description. And of course, if you have questions, let me know. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.